Listen closely, because what I'm about to share could save you hundreds, even thousands of dollars, and give you peace of mind you didn't realize you lost. A few months ago, I met a 72-year-old woman named Helen. She had just paid $650 on a bill she thought was unavoidable. The letter looked official. It had all the legal words, stamps, and threats. She whispered, "I didn't want to risk it. I was scared they'd take action." Helen is smart, resourceful, and proud. But fear made her reach for her checkbook. And here's the shocking part. She didn't legally owe that money. The law was on her side. But no one had told her. This video is for every senior who has ever looked at a bill and thought, "I don't know if I can fight this." Or worse, "I'm too tired to deal with it." Because here's the truth: debt collectors and companies often hope you won't ask questions. They hope you'll pay in silence, confused and alone. But today, I'm standing with you. I'm attorney Larrisa, and for over 15 years, I've helped seniors protect what is legally theirs. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through 5 things debt collectors cannot touch: your hard-earned money, your rights, and your peace. Stay with me until the end, because the last point is the one that often traps seniors into paying again and again, without ever needing to. Grab a notebook, or just listen closely, and if any of this resonates, share your experience in the comments. Your story could help another senior feel less alone. And don't forget to hit that like button so this advice reaches as many people as possible. Let's start with the one rule that many seniors don't realize: your Social Security benefits and most retirement accounts are protected from debt collectors. I met Mrs. Margaret, a 75-year-old widow, who was shocked when a debt collector called about a $1,200 medical bill her late husband had left behind. She was terrified. "What if they take my Social Security?" she asked, shaking. Here's the law, and it's on your side. Federal law protects Social Security checks from most creditors. That means they cannot garnish or take your monthly benefits, no matter what they say on the phone. Yes, that includes some aggressive collectors who try to scare seniors into paying immediately. The same protection often applies to pensions and retirement accounts, like Vorhausundwasakars or IRAs. Depending on state and federal laws, that money is meant to provide for you in your golden years, and the law ensures that it stays with you. But here's what most seniors don't know. Fear is what collectors rely on. They may sound official, threaten legal action, or even claim your account is at risk. But unless you sign something tying your Social Security or retirement funds to a debt, they have zero legal claim. If this happens to you, here's what to do. Stay calm. Don't respond immediately to threats. Ask for written verification of the debt. They must provide it. Do not disclose your bank or account information over the phone. Know your rights under the Social Security Administration and the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, FDCPA. One small step, asking for verification, can stop a collector in their tracks. And remember, just because someone is aggressive or intimidating doesn't mean they're legally right. Attorney Larrisa always tells her clients, fear is not a signature. Questions are your shield. Protect your income. It's your security. Now let's talk about another area where seniors are often misled: life insurance payouts and disability benefits. I remember sitting with Mr. Thomas, a 78-year-old retired teacher. He had just received a call from a debt collector demanding payment for his grandson's credit card. "Can they take my life insurance?" he asked, his voice trembling. Here's the truth. Proceeds from life insurance policies are generally protected from creditors. That means if the policy is paid out upon your passing, or even some living benefits like accelerated death benefits. Those funds typically cannot be seized to pay someone else's debt. Disability benefits work similarly. Whether you receive Social Security disability insurance, SSDI, or other federal, state disability payments, these funds are designed to provide for you, not to satisfy debt collectors. By law, they are mostly off limits to anyone trying to collect a debt. But here's where collectors try to confuse you. They might say things like, "We can take your insurance money," or "You'll lose your benefits if you don't pay." These statements are false and illegal. Attorney Larrisa often emphasizes, debt collectors count on confusion and fear. Your insurance and disability money are protected, and you have the right to challenge anyone who tries to take them. Here's what you can do if you're contacted about these funds. Ask the collector to provide proof of the debt and your legal obligation. Do not provide personal account information. A phone call is not proof of a debt. Document every interaction. Keep notes of dates, times, and the collector's statements. Consult with a professional if they persist. Even a brief call to an attorney can save you from unnecessary payments. Let me give you a story that illustrates why this matters. Mrs. Linda, 74, was called repeatedly about a medical bill from years ago. The collector said, "We'll take your life insurance if you don't pay." Scared, she almost wrote a check. But once we reviewed her policy, it was clear. Her death benefits were fully protected. The calls stopped the moment she knew her rights. And here's a tip that seniors often overlook: never make promises over the phone regarding funds that are legally protected. Saying, "I'll pay," or "I'll consider it," can sometimes be used against you. Stay calm, stand firm, and know your rights. Next, let's discuss something that's close to every senior's heart: your home and personal property. Many seniors fear that if they fall behind on bills, debt collectors could take their house or personal belongings. But here's the truth: in most states, your home and certain personal property are protected under exemption laws. I remember meeting Mrs. Evelyn, 77, who lived alone in her family home for over 40 years. She received letters from a debt collector about an old credit card balance. The letters were threatening, and she was convinced her home was at risk. Attorney Larrisa explains, "Your primary residence is generally protected under homestead exemptions. Even if you have debts, collectors cannot seize your home unless it's a mortgage foreclosure or a legally executed judgment." It's not just the house. Many personal items, like furniture, clothing, appliances, and tools, are also legally protected from collection efforts. Collectors may try to intimidate seniors with vague threats, but these are often empty. Here's a real example. Mr. Harold, 80, received a call saying, "We'll come and take your possessions if you don't pay this $200 debt." Scared, he called me immediately. We reviewed his state's exempt property laws and discovered that nearly all of his household items and his home's equity were legally untouchable. Once he knew his rights, he was able to respond to the collectors without fear. Even cars can have some protection. Depending on your state, a vehicle up to a certain value may be exempt, meaning collectors cannot repossess it for personal debts. Knowing the limits of these protections is crucial. But here's the tricky part. Some collectors rely on ignorance. They may suggest that they can take your property if you don't pay immediately. Seniors who feel pressured often comply out of fear, thinking they have no other option. The truth: the law is on your side. Attorney Larrisa often says, Knowledge is the strongest shield a senior can have. Understanding what is and isn't protected can save your home, your belongings, and your peace of mind. Now let's talk about something that many seniors rely on every month: Social Security payments and pension benefits. I met Mrs. Clara, a 75-year-old retired nurse, who received a call from a debt collector demanding repayment for a medical bill from years ago. "Can they take my Social Security?" she asked, her voice trembling with worry. Here's the truth: federal law protects Social Security benefits from most creditors. That means monthly payments you receive, whether for retirement, disability, or survivor benefits, cannot be garnished to pay personal debts. Your Social Security is meant to cover your living expenses: food, housing, healthcare, not debt collectors. The same protections often apply to pensions. Whether you receive payments from a private employer or a government pension, these funds are typically exempt from collection. Depending on state and federal rules, collectors may attempt to intimidate seniors with claims like, "What can take your benefits if you don't pay?" These statements are legally false. I remember Mr. George, 79, who got letters demanding payment for a forgotten utility bill. The collector threatened to garnish his pension. He called me, and together we reviewed his pension plan. It was fully protected under state exemption laws. The threat stopped immediately once he knew his rights. Here's a key point. Ignorance is what collectors rely on. They hope that fear and confusion will make you act without checking the law. But you have protections, and knowing them is powerful. Another example is Mrs. Jean, who had a small personal loan she struggled to repay. A collector called, threatening to take her monthly Social Security deposits. After reviewing the law, we confirmed that her benefits could not legally be touched. With this knowledge, she was able to respond calmly and refuse to make payments that weren't required. Attorney Larrisa often reminds her clients, "Your Social Security and pension are meant for your living. They are legally shielded from most collection attempts. Don't let fear or aggressive tactics convince you otherwise." Even if a collector contacts you repeatedly, do not provide personal banking details or agree to automatic deductions from your benefits. Simply knowing your legal protections puts you in control and prevents unnecessary stress. Finally, let's talk about something many seniors have worked a lifetime to build: retirement accounts and savings. I met Mr. Allen, 78, who received a notice from a collector claiming he owed money for a decades-old credit card debt. The letter suggested they could take his IRA or 401k to cover the balance. He was terrified, worried his lifelong savings could vanish. Here's the truth: federal law and most state laws protect retirement accounts from most creditors. That includes IRAs, 401ks, and other qualified retirement plans. Collectors cannot seize these funds to pay personal debts, except in very specific circumstances like federal tax liens or court-ordered child support. Mrs. Margaret, 76, experienced something similar. She got repeated calls about an old medical debt. The collector implied they could access her savings. Once we explained the exemptions, she realized her life savings were completely protected. Just knowing this gave her immense peace of mind. Even outside retirement accounts, many savings accounts have protections. State laws often exempt a portion of bank balances from collection. While the exact amount varies by state, it means collectors cannot drain your bank account entirely. Knowing your state's exemption limits is a key step in protecting your hard-earned money. Another common tactic by collectors is to confuse seniors with technical language or deadlines. They hope fear will prompt a quick payment. But the law is clear: you have rights, and many of your assets are untouchable. If a collector pressures you about retirement funds, savings, or other exempt property, you can demand verification and assert your protections calmly. Attorney Larrisa always emphasizes your money, your home, your social security, and retirement accounts. All these are legally protected. Collectors cannot intimidate you into giving up what you've earned. Key takeaways for every senior watching. Know your rights. Understand what is legally protected from collection. Pause before paying. Fear is what collectors exploit. Take time to verify claims. Request proof. Always ask for documentation before paying any debt. Protect your peace. Your calm and dignity are just as important as your finances. Remember, debt collectors rely on silence, fear, and confusion. But now, with knowledge and awareness, you are no longer vulnerable. If this video helped you, share it with someone you love, a neighbor, a friend, or a family member. It could save them from paying money they don't owe and protect their peace of mind. And in the comments, tell us, which area will you check first? Your bills, savings, or retirement accounts? Your story could help someone else feel empowered. I'm Attorney Larrisa, and I believe your calm and dignity should never be a monthly sacrifice. Protect yourself, know your rights, and take back control of your finances.